Hello and welcome back to Highland Homestead. So, first video of the week, not a planned video, however. It's the third time I've done it today, and I thought I'd show you what we're dealing with at the moment. So, main goal for this week is to build a fence line for our market garden. However, one of the reasons for said fence line, sorry, dodgy angle, just throwing the chickens some leaf feed material. One of the reasons for the fence line is here we have the horse paddock. Over there we have the pig fence. Down here we have the Escapee pig. So that means that I've now got to do the run with the piggy, pig, with the pig to get her back in electrified enclosure, which doesn't seem to work very well. She seems to have discovered that the furthest point away from the energizer does not affect her, so she uses that as a get out. Oh, in case you can't hear me, we're experiencing 40-mile-per-hour winds all the time up here. So the audio may not be the best, and if it's not, we'll subtitle this for you. Here you go, piggy, and here you go, piggy. So what you do, you give them some food, and then you, or me, make a dash for it, pull up the electrics. I think part of the reason it's coming down is because of the wind. However, so I do this again, and I hope that this time she'll get the message. It's definitely on, because it just shocked me. But how much it is on is another question. Just check along the fence line, see if there's any major things stopping it. Whoa! That was almost a slip. That would have been enjoyable. Yeah, they are still rooting up the field, unfortunately, which is something we're going to do, which is one of the reasons we're trying to move them. Is we thought if we move them to the where we want our veg garden, they'll hopefully do most of the rooting or lifting of turf for us, and then we'll just be able to get started on a blank canvas. But at the minute, the main issue is, well, we're getting it all prepared, getting to a position where we can actually get the blank canvas up. No, that's definitely not hitting. So one of the jobs I'm going to do now is I've got to run around the entire perimeter and just clear all the sods that they've lifted up at the surface, much like this here, because all that mud is obviously earth in it. However, 2 pigs in for now. There may be another video at some point this week, or another clip at some point this week, of this occurring all over again. Now this is what their old pasture's looking like, and we are only giving them small pastures at the minute, just until we get the big area down the bottom done down there. But we are in the process of cutting back some sycamore saplings, and we're going to make what is known as a dead fence, which is basically where you put stakes either side and you lay all the dead material from tree cuttings and everything and shrubbery internally, and it creates a fence that's good enough to keep livestock out. It's more naturalistic, it benefits the birds, benefits wildlife in general, which is something we're very keen on here. Hence why we're not too bothered about the field down the bottom there, because while it's all the long grass, it's doing wonders for the wildlife. But for now, that's me done for today's clip, so I shall see you in the next clip. This lovely sunny but slightly cold autumn day here. As you can see, for the keen eye of you, as I just rotated the camera around, you'll notice that there is a gap in our pig fence that we showed you last time, and there's also no house. And you realise that they're in an actual paddock now. Now the reason for this was at 6 o'clock last night in the pitch black, we come out and we make sure our chickens are away, make sure our ducks are away, check the pigs have water, check the pigs are in bed and happy, and check the horses and check the sheep. Obviously just doing the standard typical homesteader livestock check, making sure everyone's all right. And well, one of our pigs was right down the bottom of this big field, in the field next to in one of the horses' paddocks. Now to get there she had to walk out of this enclosure, all the way along the top and down the middle, and then go into where the horses stabling area is, and then out to where she was. Now she was there on her own, so thankfully I heard her from down the field and went, ah, there's a pig somewhere, but I can't see her. A bit of torch work and managed to locate her. However, it meant that at 6 o'clock in the pitch black, we led one pig from all the way over there to here, to then move both pigs from here all the way down to the gate, which is there, across the gate into the entrance to this pen, which is where their pig house is now. Put them in here. They have got water, they've got a lovely stream running through the middle of this, so they've got access to fresh water all the time, which is brilliant because it means we don't have to keep filling up water troughs for them and making wallows, because they can just wallow in that. And then we have to had to drag their house all the way the same route. Now the house is heavy, it takes 2 people to move it. However, since then, I'll give you pigs, 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 pigs. As you can see, they're both very happy with their new house. Now, old area, absolute state. New area, little bit of problems. I've just recorded that again just because I'm not sure if it was recording, because I've just hit the stop button accidentally. But I'll leave the pigs though, they're happily at the fence. They've got some apples thrown around the pasture, and being coons, they eat a lot of grass, hopefully. So we'll leave them, and we've got some sycamore, that big bush there, full of sycamore. We're cutting that down and we're going to use that to make fence posts, or posts, because we're intending to make a dead hedge, which is quite an interesting thing. It's used to keep livestock in, or livestock out if that's what you want, and it's a brilliant home for nature. Birds nest in it, mini bees, insects, the whole lot. They'll all make homes in it. So we want to do that around the veg garden to help us with the aim of making our veg garden as naturalistic as possible. So I shall leave it there. When we're getting down there to do the veg, or going down there to do the separation and putting up the fence posts, I'm sure we'll bring the camera along for you. However, that's it for this clip. See you in the next one. So we've we've cut back a load of sycamore saplings that are grown all from the base of a cut down sycamore tree in the garden, and we're going to use them to make a dead hedge. So far we've got a trolley worth of material. So we've got the lower parts of the stems, which are pretty thick, nice and straight, and they're going to be put into the ground like this, and then what we'll do is we'll infill that with all the top matter, as well as all the clippings that we're going to be taking around the property. So we've got the whole hawthorn hedge down that end to do. We've got a couple of trees that need uplift, or their canopy lifting around the land, and there is also a hawthorn hedge on the far side over there, just the other side of the waterway, if we need any more. So how a dead hedge works is you have a channel that has two stakes in the ground at a certain width, and then what you do is you lie all the other material, or the material that you've collected, in there and build it up, and eventually it will come to a height where ideally we're aiming to have it the same height as our stock fence here. So we'll have stock fence along the side, stock fence with a natural hawthorn down the bottom, and then over the other side of the field we'll have another stock fence. And what we're aiming to do is have that as our area to enclose the fruit and veg garden. So we have got to do 107 meters. You can sort of see the tape line on the floor there. So far we've got enough wood for 34 meters. We've not cut through and sorted all the trees yet. We just ended up with a trolley full, which means we're down here to do that. Once we get these ones up, I'll just put on another quick video to show you what it looks like after the start, and as we progress it will have more and more clips. Hello and welcome back. Just wanted to just show you the status of the dead hedge we've been building. Now this is at the end of the week, so we started this at the beginning. We've not got as much as we wanted done. We've been busy. We're still training the sheep to come to feed, which is now actually working very well. They respond to our calls. We've got the pigs up here in the pasture. They're up there currently rooting around for some apples that we've just thrown them. They have got a visitor coming today who will be in the next clip, I believe, which we're very excited about, and we'll discuss that further when he arrives, or they arrive. And finally, the hedge. Now, as you can see, we've put, you can see the stakes into the distance up there, but we have only started slightly doing this area, so we're driving them in. Obviously it looks a bit wonky because the sheep have been leaning on it, but our intention is to tie them at the top into a pyramid shape, so they'll sort of be one that way and one that way, crossing over at the top, with some twine tying them, and they're going to be loaded with obviously twigs. So it's a slower process than we thought, but it's because we've been tidying up. Obviously with autumn we've had a lot of leaves fall. We haven't even got into the pig enclosure for leaf clearance yet. We'll let them root around in it, but the garden and around the barn at the top, when we keep our chickens and ducks, there we've done some clearing in there because the grass is starting to suffer as a result of the leaf fall. We've also we've got a lot of sycamores here, and sycamore leaves are quite toxic to livestock. Not always, but quite often it can lead to problems. So the sycamore leaves are definitely the first to go. We haven't even had time yet to clear the electric fencing that we moved the pigs out of, so that's probably going to be a job for today, potentially, while we're outside just keeping an eye on the new arrival and the two pigs, see how they're settling in together. But yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. We've got the sheep happy, the pigs happy, the horses are happy, the chickens are out, the ducks are out. The quail, we have lost one of our quail. They're not very long-lived birds. They normally only live for 2 years, and unfortunately 2 years is this winter, and it's the harshest winter they're going to experience, considering we've now moved up north. So we did lose one of our quail this week. It's sad to lose an animal, but the quail are one of those things that we've tried hatching them before and we lost every single one in hatch. They survived for 2 or 3 days. So they're quite fragile birds. We don't know what was wrong with it, so as soon as we saw it was going downhill, we separated it from the rest of the flock, just to ensure if it was anything dangerous or anything that would spread, she was out the way. But yeah, she's died unfortunately, but we're getting something new today, and so we're looking forward to it. So we'll see you in a minute. Oh, and so the pig has arrived. So we've got our hands on a pedigree coon boar who we are renting with the view to purchase if he gets on with our girls. He's a lovely ginger boar, which we think will complement very well our black coons, and we're hoping for some nice babies out of them. He's just over 1 year old. He's experienced in raising pigs and has raised piglets himself, so has bred with other pigs before, so we're pretty confident in his ability to, and we thought, given that our girls have got no experience in whatsoever at 2 years old, we thought it was better getting a pig who has experience first time around, just to help them along as well. We were originally looking for a younger pig to pair with him, how to pair and get a young piglet to raise as the breeding boar. However, we came across this pig, or this boar, and we went to view him a couple of weeks, about last week, and we really liked him. He's a lovely temperament. He loves scratches, sits down like a dog, everything like that. The owner was very confident that he'd be great around kids, and they have a kid themselves, so we were very confident with that. And we think, well, the hope now is he'll run in here for 6 weeks. We'll give you updates as we go, and hopefully when he leaves, he'll have bred with both our females, and we can expect babies in 3 months, 3 weeks and 3 days from then. So we're likely to give him a bit to settle down, but they are integrating pretty nicely. They get on. I mean, there's a bit of squealing, but he's having a sniff at where they've been, sniffing them. High, smaller of the two, is a bit more scared of him than Truffle. But yeah, we're looking forward to seeing what they produce and hoping they produce a good litter for us. The litter we will be probably keeping 2 to raise ourselves. However, depending on the litter size, we'll probably have some for sale. They won't be pedigree registered. He is pedigree, but our 2 females aren't. So they come from a pedigree dad line, but the females are unregistered. So they will most likely be pets or people who want to grow from or raise for meat themselves. But that will be linked when they're born on our website. Again, check our Instagram. There will be a lot more pictures. Obviously, Instagram is updated daily, well, as YouTube is obviously once a week we put out a video just covering a range of the different jobs we've done. But yeah, we're very happy with him. He's enjoying his paddock. He's been given some apples for us to settle in. He comes over for a cuddle and a stroke. But yeah, he's a lovely pig, and we're looking forward to it. But that is where we're going to leave it for this week's video. Thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe and like our video. And if you honestly have any questions about any of the animals or anything we're doing, please leave them in the comments and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Or follow us on Instagram for more regular details, and again, you can message us through Instagram if you have any questions. But I shall leave you on this lovely clip of the sheep doing what they're meant to be doing, grazing.